You know what's worse than finding out your dad has a secret family? Finding out on your 25th birthday that his secret family just dumped $10,000 of debt onto your lap. Yeah, happy birthday to me, right? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because trust me, you're going to want to hear this story. Today, I'm sharing something I never thought I'd talk about publicly. The day my entire world collapsed like a house of cards, and I discovered that the man I called Dad had been living a double life for over 15 years. My name is Alex, and this is the story of how my father's secret family destroyed my life, left me drowning in debt I didn't create, and taught me the hardest lesson about trust, family, and revenge. But before we get into all of that, let me take you back to where it all started, my 25th birthday. Picture this. It's a sunny Saturday morning in June. I'm feeling good, 25 feels like a milestone. I'm thinking about career goals, maybe finally moving out of my apartment into something nicer. I had plans to celebrate with friends that evening, nothing fancy, just dinner and drinks. My phone buzzes at 8 a.m., and I see a number I don't recognize. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something told me to pick up. That phone call, it changed everything. The voice on the other end was professional, cold even. "Is this Alex Morrison?" I confirmed, still half asleep. "This is attorney Sarah Chen from Henderson & Associates. I'm sorry for your loss." My heart stopped. Loss? What loss? I hadn't heard from my dad in about 3 weeks, but that was unusual. He traveled a lot for work, or so I thought. "I'm sorry, what are you talking about?" I asked, sitting up in bed, suddenly very awake. That's when she dropped the first bomb. My father had passed away 2 weeks ago from a sudden heart attack. 2 weeks, and nobody had bothered to tell me. I was his son, his only son as far as I knew, and I found out about his death from a lawyer on my birthday. But wait, it gets worse. So much worse. The attorney continued, explaining that she needed to meet with me regarding his estate and some financial matters that required immediate attention. I was in shock, grieving, confused, but I agreed to meet her that afternoon. Birthday dinner with friends? Canceled. Instead, I found myself sitting in a sterile office staring at documents that made absolutely no sense. Here's where the secret family comes in. My father, the man who raised me, who taught me to ride a bike, who came to maybe half my baseball games, who always seemed a little distant, but I thought that was just his personality, he had another family, a whole other life. A wife, not my mom, they divorced when I was 10, and 2 kids, twin daughters who were now 17 years old. Let me break this down for you, because I'm still processing it even as I tell this story. My parents divorced when I was 10, right? My dad got the traveling sales job shortly after. He'd be gone for weeks at a time, come back for a few days, then leave again. I lived with my mom primarily, saw him every other weekend when he was in town, and honestly, after I turned 18 and went to college, our relationship became even distant. Phone calls on holidays, birthday cards with checks, the occasional lunch meetup. What I didn't know, what nobody told me, was that 6 months after my parents' divorce, my dad met someone else. Her name was Patricia. They got married within a year, and she got pregnant immediately. He wasn't traveling for work, you guys. He was living a completely separate life 3 hours away in another city, being a full-time husband and father to these twins, while keeping me and my mom at arm's length with just enough contact to maintain the illusion. The attorney laid it all out. Every document, every piece of evidence of this double life. Bank statements showing where his money really went, photos of family vacations I was never invited to, birthday parties, graduations, Christmas mornings, all with this other family. But here's the kicker, the reason I was sitting in that office on my birthday: debt. My father, in his infinite wisdom and complete lack of responsibility, had taken out multiple credit cards and personal loans in recent years. We're talking about maxed out cards, predatory payday loans, medical bills from treatments he apparently never told anyone about. The total? Just over $65,000 in debt. Now, normally, debt dies with the person, right? It gets handled through the estate. Creditors get whatever they can from remaining assets, and that's that. Except my brilliant father had done something unforgivable. He had made me a joint account holder on several of these accounts without my knowledge. When I was 21 and had just started building my credit, he'd somehow gotten me to sign documents. I remember now, he said it was paperwork for insurance or something vague like that, and I, trusting my own father, signed without reading everything thoroughly. Joint account holder means joint responsibility, which means that $10,000 of that debt, legally mine. The rest was being disputed by Patricia and the estate, but that 10 grand, that was sitting on my shoulders, crushing me like a weight I never asked for. But wait, there's more. Remember how I mentioned my dad had medical bills? Turns out he had a life insurance policy worth $250,000. And guess who the sole beneficiary was? Patricia and the twins. Not a single cent designated for me. The man made sure his secret family was financially secure while simultaneously burying me in debt. It was like he'd planned this. Protect them, screw me over one last time from beyond the grave. I sat in that office, documents spread out in front of me, and felt my entire reality crumble. My father was dead. He had a secret family. He'd screwed me over financially on his way out while ensuring his other family was set for life. Happy 25th birthday, Alex. Here's a debt you didn't create and $250,000 you'll never see for a life you weren't part of, from a man who clearly never really loved you the way you thought he did. The days following that meeting were the darkest of my life. I didn't tell anyone at first. How do you even explain this? Hey Mom, remember Dad? Well, he's dead, had another family, and left me with debt while giving them a fortune. I couldn't form the words. I started digging, obsessively researching everything I could find. Social media was a goldmine of pain. Patricia's Facebook was public, and there they all were, years and years of family photos. My dad coaching the twins' soccer team, beach vacations, Disneyland, high school graduations I never knew happened. Every photo was a knife to my heart because I started comparing. He looked happy in these photos, genuinely happy. More present, more engaged than he ever was with me. I found myself asking terrible questions. Was I not enough? Was I the practice kid and they were the real family? Did he love them more? And the worst question of all, did he ever really love me? The financial pressure started mounting immediately. $10,000 doesn't sound like a fortune to some people, but I was working a decent job, making about $45,000 a year, living in an expensive city, trying to save money, trying to build a life. $10,000 in sudden, unexpected debt was devastating. The creditors started calling within days. They didn't care about my grief or confusion. They wanted payment plans. They wanted money. They wanted it now. I tried to fight it legally. I consulted with 3 different attorneys, each one telling me the same thing. Because my name was on those accounts, because I had technically signed the documents, even if I didn't understand what I was signing, I was liable. Fighting it would cost more in legal fees than the debt itself, and I'd likely lose anyway. My credit score started dropping. I had to cancel plans to move into that nicer apartment. The financial cushion I'd been carefully building for years, gone. I had to take money out of my retirement account just to make the minimum payments while I figured out a real plan. But the emotional toll was worse than the financial one. I started having panic attacks. I couldn't sleep. Every time my phone rang, I thought it was another creditor, another piece of bad news, another revelation about my father's lies. I became paranoid, questioning every relationship in my life. If my own father could deceive me this completely, who else was lying? I finally told my mom about 6 weeks after that initial attorney meeting. We sat in her kitchen and I watched her face cycle through shock, horror, disgust, and then fury. She had her own suspicions during the marriage, she admitted. Times he was working late that didn't add up, business trips that seemed unnecessary, defensive behavior when questioned. But she never imagined it was this extensive, this deliberate, this cruel. She wanted to help financially, but she couldn't. She was living on a teacher's pension and Social Security, barely making ends meet herself. The guilt I felt for even burdening her with this information was overwhelming. 2 months after finding out everything, my grandmother, my dad's mother, requested to meet with me. I thought maybe she wanted to offer support, maybe help with the debt. What she told me shattered me all over again. She'd known. For years, she'd known about Patricia and the twins. My dad had sworn her to secrecy, made her choose between her son and her grandson, and she'd chosen him. Every birthday card she sent me, every Christmas dinner we shared, every time she told me how proud she was of me, she was carrying this massive secret. She apologized through tears, said she regretted it every day, that it ate away at her. But the damage was done. Even my own grandmother had been complicit in erasing me from half of my father's life. He said if I told you, it would destroy both his families, she sobbed. He said you were better off not knowing. I should have told you anyway. I should have chosen you. I left her house feeling more alone than ever. The betrayal wasn't just my father's anymore, it was systemic. Multiple people knew and said nothing. Multiple people watched me live in ignorance while my father built a whole separate existence. I also made the mistake, or maybe it wasn't a mistake, of reaching out to Patricia. I found her email through my father's estate documents and sent her a message. It was long, emotional, probably incoherent. I told her about the debt, about how I felt, about the betrayal. I asked her if she knew about me, if the twins knew they had a half-brother, if any of them cared that his other kid was drowning while they collected insurance money. Her response came 3 days later. 2 sentences. I'm sorry for what you're going through. My daughters and I are dealing with our own grief and cannot help you with the financial situation. Cold, dismissive, protective of her family, the real family apparently, while treating me like a stranger. And maybe that's all I was to them. Maybe my dad kept me so separate that I was just a ghost, a sketch of a person they'd heard about but never really knew. The anger started then, real, burning, consuming anger, not just at my dad, he was dead, I couldn't exactly yell at him, but at this situation, at Patricia for her coldness, at the universe for this cosmic joke of timing. Anger at myself for being naive, for trusting, for not asking more questions over the years. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I found something while going through documents the estate had sent. Bank statements showing large cash withdrawals. We're talking $5,000 to $8,000 at a time, happening every few months for the past 3 years. $60,000 total just vanished. No record of what it was spent on. The estate couldn't account for it. Patricia claimed she knew nothing about it. That money could have paid off the debt twice over. Where did it go? I became obsessed with finding out. I hired a private investigator with money I definitely didn't have. It took him 3 weeks, but what he uncovered made everything so much worse. My father had a gambling problem. Online poker, sports betting, casino trips he told Patricia were business conferences. He'd blown through $60,000 chasing losses, then took out predatory loans to hide the extent of his addiction from both families. The debt he left me with? Gambling debt. I was paying for my dead father's addiction. The man couldn't even be honest about why he needed money. He destroyed his credit, my credit, and the future he could have left for any of his children, all for cards and dice and betting odds. The turning point came 3 months after my birthday. I was drowning in debt payments, my mental health was in the gutter, and I was seriously considering bankruptcy. I hit bottom. That's when I decided I was done being a victim. I couldn't change what had happened. I couldn't bring my father back to demand answers or accountability. I couldn't make Patricia and her daughters care about me. But I could take control of the one thing I had power over, my response. First, I got aggressive with the debt. I took on a second job doing freelance work on weekends. Every extra dollar went toward that $10,000. I cut expenses ruthlessly. Goodbye streaming services, goodbye eating out, goodbye any luxury that wasn't essential. It sucked, but it was temporary, and I needed to feel like I was fighting back. Second, I started therapy. Best decision I ever made. My therapist helped me process the grief, not just for my father's death, but for the relationship I thought we had that never really existed. She helped me understand that his betrayal wasn't a reflection of my worth. He was flawed, selfish, and made terrible choices that had nothing to do with whether I was lovable or enough. Third, and this is the revenge part some of you have been waiting for, I decided that if my father's secret family wanted to pretend I didn't exist, I'd make sure everyone else knew the truth. I wrote a detailed blog post explaining the entire situation. Names changed for legal reasons, but the story was all there. The double life, the secret family, the debt, the betrayal, the gambling, all of it. I posted it everywhere. Social media, Reddit, Medium, everywhere. It went viral within a week, thousands of shares, millions of views, countless messages from people who'd experienced similar betrayals. But here's what made it truly satisfying. I also sent the link to every single person in my father's life, his coworkers, his friends, his extended family members, his church community, everyone. But most importantly, I sent it to the twins. They were 18 by then, adults, old enough to know the truth about who their father really was. The backlash was immediate. Patricia called me, furious, accusing me of trying to destroy her daughter's memory of their father. Some of my dad's friends reached out, angry that I'd aired dirty laundry. A few of his family members said I was being vindictive and cruel. But you know what else happened? The truth came out. Other people started coming forward with their own stories about my dad. Shady business dealings, more lies, other deceptions. The perfect image Patricia had built of him crumbled. Here's where karma started working in mysterious ways. About a week after my blog went viral, I got an anonymous email with attached documents. Someone, I still don't know who, had done digging into Patricia's background. Turns out, she wasn't the innocent grieving widow she portrayed herself as being. While my dad was supposedly traveling for work and spending time with me, Patricia was having her own affair with my dad's business partner of all people. The twins' graduation that my dad attended, Patricia's affair partner was there too, in multiple photos, looking very comfortable with the family. The investigation revealed something even more shocking. There was a strong possibility that one of the twins wasn't even my father's biological child. DNA evidence from a paternity test Patricia had secretly taken years ago was in those documents. My father may have known, may not have known, but someone wanted me to have this information. Suddenly, Patricia's cold dismissal of me made more sense. She couldn't risk me digging into the family finances or requesting DNA tests for estate purposes because her own secrets might come out. She couldn't afford for anyone to look too closely at her perfect grieving widow act. One of the twins, Emily, reached out to me privately after everything went public. She was devastated, angry at everyone, her mom, her dead father, the situation, but she wanted to know me. We started talking. Carefully, slowly. Then came the twist I never saw coming. Emily did some digging of her own in her mother's belongings. She found a box of letters, love letters between our father and Patricia dating back to when my parents were still married. My father didn't meet Patricia 6 months after the divorce. He'd been having an affair for 2 years before my parents split. Which meant my entire childhood, those last 2 years of my parents' marriage, the fighting, the tension, my mother's depression that I blamed myself for, it was all because of Patricia. My parents didn't grow apart naturally. My father was already building his replacement family while still living in our house. But here's the kicker that made my blood run cold. In one of the letters, dated from 3 years ago, my father explicitly wrote about making me a joint account holder as insurance in case anything happened to him so the debt wouldn't fall on Patricia and his real family. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a misunderstanding. He deliberately, knowingly, maliciously transferred that debt to me. He used me as a financial scapegoat, planning years in advance to protect the family he actually cared about. Even the phrase real family was written in his own handwriting. I wasn't real to him. I was expendable, a tool to be used. Emily sent me photos of the letters. She was horrified by what her father had done, what both her parents had done. She'd lost respect for them both and made a choice in that moment, honesty over comfortable lies. As for the debt, I paid it off in 14 months. 14 brutal months of working 2 jobs, living on ramen and peanut butter, having zero social life. But I did it, and the day I made that final payment, I cried. Not because I was relieved, though I was, but because I'd proven something to myself. I'd survived something that should have broken me. I'd paid off debt that wasn't mine, created by a father who literally called me my insurance plan. So, what did I learn from all of this? A few things, actually. First, family isn't just about blood. It's about honesty, respect, and showing up. My father was biologically my parent, but he failed at being an actual father in the ways that mattered. Meanwhile, my mom, my real friends, my therapist, even some strangers on the internet who sent words of encouragement, they showed me more love and support than he ever did. Second, financial literacy is crucial.
I learned the hard way to read everything before signing, to check my credit regularly, to never give anyone access to my financial accounts, no matter how much I trust them. These lessons cost me $10,000, but they're worth more than that in the long run. Third, betrayal and grief are complicated, messy, and non-linear. Some days, I miss my dad despite everything. Other days, I'm still angry. Both feelings can exist simultaneously. Healing isn't about reaching some perfect state where you're over it completely. It's about learning to carry the weight without it crushing you. Fourth, revenge doesn't always look like what you think it will. I thought exposing the truth would feel triumphant, victorious. Instead, it felt necessary. It felt like taking back my narrative, refusing to be erased from a story I was always part of, whether my father wanted me there or not. And finally, you're stronger than you think. 3 years ago, if you'd told me I'd survive something like this, I wouldn't have believed you. But I did. I'm still here. I'm rebuilding my credit, rebuilding my savings, and rebuilding my sense of trust in people, carefully, slowly, but genuinely. The story doesn't end just with paying off the debt, though. 6 months after I'd finished making payments, Patricia's affair partner, feeling guilty after my story went viral and seeing the comments from millions of people condemning what happened to me, reached out to me. His name was David, and he'd worked with my dad for over a decade. He confirmed that one of the twins wasn't my father's biological child, she was his. He'd been having an affair with Patricia for years, even while she was married to my dad. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. My father built a secret family while Patricia built a secret within that secret. But David offered something that changed everything. He wanted to help me sue the estate for the insurance money and compensation. He provided documented evidence of everything: Patricia's affair, the gambling, the deliberate debt transfer plan that was outlined in those letters, all of it.
He felt guilty, he said. He'd watched my father manipulate the situation, watched Patricia benefit from the insurance money while knowing what had been done to me. He couldn't stay silent anymore. My lawyer filed the lawsuit 8 months ago. The case is ongoing, but my attorney is confident. Patricia might end up having to pay me back every cent of that $10,000, plus damages for emotional distress and the deliberate fraud my father committed. The secret family that tried to erase me, they're now facing their own reckoning. Their perfect insurance-funded life is crumbling under legal fees and the truth coming out in depositions. Patricia's affair is now public record. The questions about paternity are destroying the family dynamic she tried so hard to protect. And Emily, caught in the middle of all this, chose honesty and integrity over protecting her mother's lies. She's testifying on my behalf. She's the only one from that family I still speak to, and honestly, she's the only one who deserves my respect. She didn't ask for any of this, neither of us did, but she chose what was right over what was comfortable. My father's secret family left me with $10,000 in debt on my 25th birthday, but that was just the beginning. I discovered he had a secret family, a $250K life insurance policy I wasn't included in, and had deliberately planned to use me as his financial scapegoat. This is my story of betrayal, revenge, and how I fought back.